We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Business Beyond the Game. I'm your host, Eric Jackson, and this edition comes to you from the city that never sleeps, the Big Apple, New York City. Pleased to be joined by former College Player of the Year, turned point guard for the New York Knickerbockers, Jalen Brunson. Jalen, what's going on, man?
How you doing, my man?
Great, man. Great. Welcome to the show, man. We appreciate you coming on, especially during the busy season schedule.
Of course, of course, of course.
Yeah, man. Before we dive in, I have an important question for you. What's your go-to bodega order?
Um, I'm gonna get an everything bagel uh, with egg and cheese. Used to be bacon, but I don't eat bacon anymore. But everything bagel with egg and cheese, hash brown, chipotle mayo.
Hey, that's a good one for the Aki. I like that for sure. Egg and cheese. Jalen is endorsing the egg and cheese all the way. Speaking of endorsements, you've recently partnered with natural cereal brand Catalina Crunch. You and Catalina have teamed up to create your own limited edition cereal, celebrating your favorite flavor, Jalen. What was just that process like for you? Like just going through that.
Um, I mean, it was fairly easy. Catalina Crunch came to me, and we have very similar goals when it comes to diet and health, and so it kind of became a no-brainer. And so it was fairly simple. And whenever we got to choosing the flavors and stuff like that, like I'm a very simple guy. So I think the honey nut with almond was just like kind of explain. I don't know how to say it, but it explains me perfectly. Like he's great, but he's simple.
Yeah. No, well, all the different choices, you go with the honey nut and almonds, huh?
Yep, of course.
I imagine you in this intense chemical lab just testing frantically all these different cereal flavors.
No, I did. I definitely did. I had everything uh, set out in different bowls and stuff like that. But yeah, that one got me.
Yeah, Jalen, for you, how important is it just to be involved in the creative direction of sponsorship campaigns?
It's great. It's something like you never really thought that you would be a part of, and so to kind of open this path to do different things and represent different companies and share my thoughts about them, it's been pretty cool. And it's something like everyone dreams about like having like endorsements and stuff like that. But then when it comes to actually doing it, you have to kind of think on your feet. You have to understand what everything's about. And so it's been a great way to kind of expand my brand and my business off the court.
Yeah, and did you grow up a Wheaties guy? I mean, what was the initial inspiration you would say when you had the opportunity to do this?
I didn't grow up a Weezy guy. Did not. I don't know why. I don't. Maybe at my grandmother's house, but never, never my parents' house. But yeah, I was definitely a kid who grew up eating cereal a lot, and I prefer it was the easiest thing to do, and definitely wish I probably had healthier cereal. But I think it turned out all right.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you've also partnered with Oura-Ring, Bose, Delta, and others, and I'm sure other companies have approached you about endorsement deals. What do you look for exactly when it comes to these brand partnerships? Outside of money, of course.
Yeah. I always myself and my team we always do a background knowledge or like a kind of like a background check to see like what the company is about, and so I always want to partner with companies who have the right intentions, who definitely help in philanthropy. Excuse me.
Mhm.
Um, I look into that. Obviously, I've worked with Oura Ring, which I wear every day. Bose, as you can tell. But yeah, all the companies I've partnered with, and like Faraday, DoorDash, like everyone, it's been great. It's been great, and it's just because of I look into the background, I see how they help outside of what they do, and
Mhm.
I think that means a lot to me.
Right, kind of shared values, right? Kind of like nutrition, kind of with Catalina and the cereal being a healthier option.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Great, great. No, definitely. And for you, do you ever look to do more New York partnerships, given your position with the Knicks and your ties to the tri-state area?
Definitely. I'm always open to stuff like that. I think for me, it's just when the opportunity presents itself, and I'll definitely look into it. I'll definitely see what I can do. Um, For me though, I think I'm definitely open to doing more partnerships, but like I always love to keep the main thing the main thing. Like I
Mm,
know that like when times are rough and maybe when things aren't going as well as you want when it comes to like basketball and stuff like that, I always kind of step back and think, how can I make sure I'm in the right frame of mind possible to make sure I'm able to do those things. So
mm.
as long as I'm working hard on the court and making sure I'm taking care of everything first, I know I'll be even better when it comes to helping um, brands like endorse themselves.
Love that. Keeping the main thing, definitely. And for you, many people would say New York City is the financial capital of the world, right? And I'm curious for you, when you were interested in the Knicks, how much did you just consider how beneficial it could be for your business portfolio and media profile by playing here?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Media capital, financial capital. This city has everything. Um, I knew there were going to be chances to do something outside of basketball coming here. Um, just because, like, New York, you're on a larger scale. New York is, like I said, has everything. Um, so it definitely came in the frame of mind. But I knew that, hey, if I did everything I had to do on the court, that stuff uh, it would present itself at some point.
Yeah, are you interested in music or entertainment outside of acting or other avenues of creativity?
Am I interested in that? I mean, I love watching it. I love listening to it, but I don't really know if I'm capable of doing stuff outside of it. But I was a communication major in school, so definitely I had to take an acting course or two. But I'm interested. I just don't know how well I would be in that field.
Hey, always worth a try, right? Had some other former Knicks who've graced the big screen post career, so maybe something to think about. But Jalen, I don't think a lot of people know that the Knicks are owned by public company MSG Sports. I'm curious, are you an investor in MSG Sports? I'm always interested in players in their position with teams that are owned by public companies.
Yeah, I'm actually not. I've kind of never thought about it. Um, with everything going on with like the new CBA and things you're able to do, with teams now, it's definitely something to think about. But yeah, I mean that's probably one thing I probably started thinking about, see what I can do with that.
Maybe in the next re-up, right? Include some stock swap. I don't know how that goes, but
It might hey, might have to bring that up in conversation.
definitely. And what was it like for you, just Jalen, seeing the energy from the fans during the last year's playoff run? Like it almost seemed like a giant party outside every time you guys won a game.
And man, that was special. The way Knicks fans have treated me um, through the ups and downs of the past year and a half, almost 2 years. I have nothing but love and respect for them, because they're true fans who just want to see people just go out there, give everything they got. Obviously, you want to win, but I think the way our team is set up and the way our chemistry and how everyone's built individually, we have a lot of guys on our team who are doubted, and a lot of guys who are on our team who are told things that like, hey, like you're good, like, but like there's always that but on like what you can't do and how it's exploited, and so it kind of revolves around the theme of the city. Like everyone's a hard worker. Everyone's like, you clock in, you clock out, do what you got to do. And so I think the chemistry and how we are as a team kind of revolves on what the city is built on.
Love that for sure. And for Jalen, still pretty early in your career, but I'm very curious just from your experiences so far. From Villanova and just to the NBA. What's just been the best business lesson you've learned so far?
The best business lesson? I think that's a great question, honestly. One thing that I always do when it comes to business and making decisions, I always talk it over with so many people. So I want to hear the pros and cons, the opinions of everybody, what they have to say about certain companies, and I think that's very smart because you may get so caught up in like a big name or something like that. You're like, oh my gosh, this is really cool, but you may not know what's going on outside of what you think. So you want to get the full picture. You want to get the pros and cons that you can, and make a very sound decision. And sometimes sound decisions may turn bad later, and decisions you make that don't go in your favor may be good later. So it's always you never really know what you're gonna get yourself into. You just gotta do your background knowledge or background checks and things you do, and kind of just have to pray for the best. You just never know what's gonna happen.
Right. But having that full scope, right? You're saying going into a
Yeah,
decision.
you always have to have an open mind and just kind of understand the pros and cons of everything. Things may work out, things may not, and then you gotta live with your decision.
As we wrap up here, Jalen, I must ask, if you were commissioner of the NBA for one day, what's one improvement that you would like to see?
If I was commissioner, I don't know. There's so much that can be said, but I love my job and I love everything about it. So I'm not trying to put that in jeopardy. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm just joking. But I would say honestly, the one thing about this league that's just very tiresome and everyone complains, at least from a player standpoint or other staff or standpoint or whatever, it's like back to backs. Back to backs. I don't think people understand how hard back to backs are mentally and physically, and so especially when you're traveling with it. So that's one thing I would change. But I mean, if you don't have back to backs, that means more practice. So that means a longer season. So it's the season's already long enough. So I mean, I don't know. There's there's pros and cons to everything.
You'd rather have the game than the practice, huh? That's what that
Yeah,
sounds like.
for sure.
Well, that's great. That's great. Well, that's going to wrap us up, folks. You heard it from the man himself, Jalen Brunson, who's on a quest to bring the Knickerbockers a champion while finding his own lane off the court. Jalen, I appreciate you, man, for coming in.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.